Hello everybody, myself R.C. Rao, Senior Physics Faculty, Sri Chaitanya IIT Academy. Now today we are going to discuss about morning shift JEE Mains 2020 September. But now I am going to discuss questions in this session which are purely based on student memory. Okay, let us start. First question. In the first question, they have given two magnets P and T. P is used as permanent magnet and T is used in transformer. Then which option is correct? In permanent magnets, coercivity is more, retentivity is more, whereas in magnets which are used in transformer, coercivity should be less, retentivity should be less. So we have to identify which one is correct. P has high retentivity, low coercivity, it's wrong. Whereas P has low retentivity, high coercivity, it is wrong. T has low coercivity, low retentivity, this is the correct answer. This is also wrong. So third option is right. Now I am going to start second question. The second question is based on gravitation, but here they have given a hypothetical situation. What is that one? The mass of the galaxy varies with respect to position, given the mass density rho is equal to k by r. Now a planet of certain mass is rotating in a circular path of radius r0. This is the circular path taken radius r0. This is the center of galaxy. Now we are measuring what is the mass of galaxy up to this one, up to r0. For that I am taking a differential segment dr, thickness, position r. Now the mass of that differential segment dm is equal to mass per unit volume into volume 4 pi r square into dr. Now this is k by r, 4 pi r square into dr, get cancelled. Now which is equal to k 4 pi r into dr. Now the mass of galaxy up to radius r0, m is equal to integral dm up to r0, which is equal to 0 to r0 k 4 pi r dr, which is equal to k 2 pi r0 square in r0 square. This is the mass of the galaxy up to that. Now the centripetal force acting on that planet mr omega square is equal to g m by r0 square, m by r0 square. Now get cancelled. That means in the time period mass of that planet is independent. Now r0 cube w 2 pi by t whole square g capital M k 2 pi r0 square by r0 square. Now get cancelled. By calculating it, t is equal to square root of 2 pi r0 by kg. So third option is correct answer. Now we are going to third question. In third question, a meter scale having mass m, its mass is at center, is suspended by means of two ropes, and another mass 3m is suspended at a point 75 centimeter from A. Now they are asking they are given tension in A is kmg. What is the value of k? Here we are applying law of conservation of angular momenta. The angular momenta about B is constant. Then clockwise momenta is equal to anti-clockwise momenta. Clockwise momenta, that is by means of tension in A. Now TA into 100 about point B is equal to, it gives anti-clockwise momentum mg into 50 plus 3 mg into 25. Now by calculating you will get TA is equal to 5 by 4 mg. TA is equal to 5 by 4 mg. Now compare with it. Here T is equal to K mg. Therefore, K is equal to 5 by 4. So, first option is correct. Now, go to fourth question. In fourth question, a circular coil of radius r is rotating about its diameter in an uniform magnetic field. They are asking what is the maximum EMF generated. The maximum EMF on the basis of Faraday's law, E is equal to minus d by dt of AB cos omega t on the basis of Faraday's law. Now, this is equal to E is equal to AB omega sin omega t. Now, this is maximum value, E naught is equal to AB omega. Now, area of the coil, B magnetic induction, omega 2 pi by t. Now, by calculating you will get, given A is equal to, this is pi r square, B 2 pi by t, but here given for half the rotation it takes time 0.2. So, for total rotation it takes 0.4. Now, substitute the values here. Pi radius 10 centimeters, that means 10 to the power minus 1 meter whole square. B given this is 5 into 10 to the power minus 5 into 2 pi, total time period 0.4 second. Now, which is equal to, by calculating you will get third option is correct answer. Now, go to question number 5. In question number 5, a cylindrical container contains certain liquid. Now, about its axis it is rotating with angular velocity omega, Now, they are asking what is the height of the outer edge with respect to this. Now, for this, this we will get on the basis of centrifugal force. By deriving it, we have a shortcut formula, that is H is equal to r square omega square by 2g. By using this formula, we will get the answer. Here, radius of the container 5 centimeter, that is 5 into 10 to the power minus 2 whole square into omega. Given omega is equal to 10 radians per second, omega by 2 into 10. Now, by calculating 25 10 to the power minus 4 100 by 20. Now, which is equal to 125 into 10 to the power minus 4, which is equal to 125 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter, okay, which is equal to 1.25 centimeter. 1.25 centimeter. So, this is the correct answer. Now, I am starting question number 6. In question number 6, they are asking what is the Young's modulus of elasticity in terms of force, velocity and area. Y is equal to Young's modulus. Y is equal to, I am writing Y in terms of force, velocity and area. Their powers are A, B, C. Now, I am writing this in fundamental quantities, F by A force, velocity, area. Now I am converting m1 L1 t minus 2 by L2 is equal to force, mass into acceleration, whole to the power a, velocity L1 t minus 1 whole to the power b, area L2. Now on both sides, if we compare the powers, we will get a is equal to 1, b is equal to 0 and c is equal to minus 1, c is equal to minus 1. Then the correct answer is first one, y is equal to f1 v0 a to the power minus 1. So first option is correct answer. Now I am starting the seventh question. The seventh question is purely based on memory based, purely memory based. They are asking what is the order of resistivity for aluminum, mercury, copper and water. If you observe that 4 from the data, resistivity for aluminum, resistivity for copper is less. After that, resistivity of aluminum, after that resistivity of water and then resistivity of mercury. This is the correct order. So first option is correct one. Now I am starting question number 8. In question number 8, they have given clearly the train A, train B. Train A is moving with velocity 36 kilometer per hour, whereas train B is moving with velocity 72 kilometer per hour. Now the person in the train A, this is the train A, this is the train B. The person in train A is moving in this direction, given with velocity 1.8 kilometer per hour. Now they are asking what is the velocity of the person with respect to person sitting in the train B. Now let me write the velocities in terms of meters per second. Velocity of A, that is 36 kilometer per hour, it will be 10 meters per second. Velocity of man, that in train A is equal to 1.8 kilometer per hour, this is 0.5 meters per second, whereas velocity of train B is equal to 72 kilometer per hour, this is equal to 72 into 5 by 18 meters per second, which is equal to 20 meters per second. These are the velocities in meters per second. And now what is the velocity of man with respect to ground? Velocity of man with respect to ground is equal to 1.8, that is 0.5 minus 10, which is equal to minus 9.5 meters per second, minus 9.5 meters per second, which means with respect to this motion he is moving back. It means he is moving back in this direction. In this direction 9.5 meters per second. Now the velocity of this person with respect to B, velocity of man with respect to B is equal to, but it is moving with 10 meters per second, 20 meters per second. Now that velocity of man is equal to 9.5 minus 9.5 minus 20, which is equal to minus 29.5 meters per second. So that means the velocity of man with respect to B is minus 29.5 meters per second. That means the person in B appears that he is moving back with that velocity. So out of 4 options, this is the correct one. Now question number 9. In question number 9, discuss the property of properties of image formed by concave mirror as per the given diagram. In this given diagram, object is placed beyond center of curvature. When object is placed beyond center of curvature, you will get real, inverted and diminished image. You will get real, inverted and diminished image. So, third option is right. You can get it by using ray diagram also. This is a ray diagram for it. Now, this is a light ray coming from object passing through principal focus. After that, it is traveling parallel to the principal axis, whereas another one incident on the pole of the mirror and then coming back. Thereby image will be formed here. This is the image. This is real, inverted and diminished image. So, third option is correct answer. Now, I am starting the 10th question. In the 10th question, they have given 3 moles of oxygen with 5 mole of argon at temperature T. Find the total internal energy of the system. Here given 3 moles of oxygen plus 5 mole of argon. This oxygen is the diatomic, therefore, it has 5 degrees of freedom, whereas argon, it is a monoatomic, so only 3 degrees of freedom. Now, for each degree, the amount of energy contributed of kBT, here for each degree of kBT, 5 moles, 5 into Avogadro number. Here 3 moles into Avogadro number. Now, this is the total internal energy of the system of these 2 gases. Okay. Now, which is equal to 15 into of N naught kb, that is RT, plus 15 into of RT. Now, this total is equal to 15 RT. So, third option is correct here. Now, I am starting 11th question. In the 11th question, a body of mass m moving with velocity ui cap collides elastically with a stationary body of mass 3m. 3m is at rest. 3m is at rest. Now, after collision, velocity of first body is Vj. Velocity of another body they did not mention. Just you consider V dash bar. Okay. Now, they are asking if the now they are asking what is the V value. They are asking V value. Now, use 2 concepts here. One is law of conservation of momentum. From law of conservation of momentum, we can write m ui plus 0 is equal to, after collision, m Vj cap plus 3m V dash bar. Now, on the basis of that, V dash is equal to V dash bar is equal to u by 3 I cap minus V by 3 j cap modulus V dash bar is equal to under root V by u by 3 whole square plus V by 3 whole square. Now, by using law of conservation of energy, from law of conservation of energy, total energy before collision of m u square plus 0, total energy after collision, that is of m v square plus of 3m, this is u by 3 whole square plus v by 3 whole square. By calculating you will get V is equal to u by root 2. u by root 2. So, out of the 4 options, the velocity of first body after collision u by root 2. Now, I am going to start 12th question, whereas the 12th question is a block of mass m start and stop along the inclined surface. That means block B is starting at B and by sliding finally coming to rest at A. That is because of this rough part. In this case, the work done by gravitational force along the inclined surface is equal and opposite to work done by the frictional force. Now, I am writing work done by gravitation force is equal to work done by friction. Work done by the gravitational force, that is mg sin theta into total length, given this is 2L, on the base of it this is 2L, this is L. Therefore, gravitational force acting on the body along inclined surface into displacement along inclined surface 3L is equal to work done by the frictional force, that is frictional force acting on the body, that is mu mg cos theta into displacement L. Now, by calculating you will get mu is equal to 3 tan theta. Now, in the question mu is equal to k tan theta, they are asking the k value. So, by comparing this with the coming equation, the k is equal to 3. So, third option is the correct option. Now, I am starting 13th question. In the 13th question, here this is the sphere of mass m, radius r, which is placed on the steps. Now, they are asking find the minimum value of f applied perpendicular to OP when O is center of the ball and m is mass, r is the radius. Now, they are asking what is the minimum force required just to lift the body. In this, I am going to take the concept of toppling. Now, in this diagram, now about the point P, now this is F, whereas this is radius R, this is radius R. Now, weight is acting vertically downwards. Now, in this case, just to lift the body, torque due to F should be more than torque due to mg about the point P. That means, torque due to F should be greater than or equal to torque due to mg. Now, the torque due to F about point O is equal to force into its perpendicular distance, that is R, greater than or equal to torque due to mg, that is weight mg into its perpendicular distance from it. This is the perpendicular distance. Let us consider theta. This is R cos theta, whereas this is A. Now, this is equal to R minus A. Now, the perpendicular distance of mg from point P is equal to R cos theta. Now, R get cancelled. Now, F should be greater than or equal to mg into cos theta. Cos theta is equal to adjacent side, this value. Let us consider O AP, adjacent side AP by hypotenuse R. Now, which is equal to mg AP is equal to square root of R square minus R minus A whole square by R. Now, by simplifying it, you will get By simplifying that, you will get second option is correct answer. That second option by simplifying it, you will get f should be greater than or equal to, that second option is correct one. Now I am going to start question number 14. This question number 14 is based on photoelectric effect. Here given that the stopping potential of emitted photoelectrons is V when a monochromatic light of wavelength lambda is incident on the metal surface. Now corresponding to that statement, I am going to write the equation EV is equal to hc by lambda. This is the energy of incident radiation minus work function. This is the equation number 1. Whereas second statement, if wavelength of incident light becomes 3 lambda, that means 3 times of initial wavelength, then stopping potential becomes V by 4. Then they have given the wavelength of the threshold wavelength of metal is k lambda. Now what will be that k value? As per the second statement, you can write EV by 4 is equal to hc by 3 lambda minus work function, equation number 2. But W naught is equal to hc by lambda naught. Now by calculating it, you will get lambda naught is equal to, by calculating lambda naught is equal to 9 lambda. Therefore this third option is correct answer. Now start question number 15. In question number 15, fundamental frequencies of two strings X and Y are given 450 and 300 Hz. Now they are asking what is the ratio of tensions in the two strings given the two strings are identical. Now the formula for fundamental frequency, n is equal to 1 by 2L square root of T by mu. These two are identical strings. So length constant and mass per unit length also constant. Thereby n is directly proportional to root T. That implies T is directly proportional to n square. Now Tx by Ty is equal to Nx, that is 450 by 300 whole square. Now by calculating it, you will get this is 9 by 4. So second option is the correct answer, 9 by 4. Now we are going to start 16th question. It is capacitor based. Here given one capacitor 5 microfarad which is charged with a battery 200 volt, whereas another capacitor that is 2.5 microfarad, actually it is uncharged. Now the charged capacitor is disconnected from the battery and connected across the uncharged battery. Then they are asking find the energy released in this process. What is the energy released by the connecting wires? Here there is a formula for it. Delta H is equal to of C1 C2 by C1 plus C2 into V1 minus V2 whole square. Here C1, this is C1, whereas this is C2, whereas this is V1. Now here V2 is equal to 0. By substituting the values in this, by calculating it, you will get the answer. You will get this one, 10 to the power minus 3 joules. So out of 4 options, this fourth one is correct answer. Now we are going to start 17th question. Here there is a parabolic shape wire frame. This wire frame is in xy plane. It is rotating about y axis with angular velocity omega. Now they are asking what is that angular velocity when a bead here is a bead at this position is at rest. Now I am measuring what are the forces acting on the bead which keeps the bead at rest. Now the forces, its weight is acting vertically downwards. This weight is acting vertically downwards. Whereas centrifugal force acting in this direction, mx omega square. Now, the gravitational force along this direction, the gravitational force along this direction. Now, this is theta, that is the slope of the parabolic path, whereas this is 90 minus theta, 90 minus theta. Now, this is equal to mg, mg cos 90 minus theta, whereas the component of it along this direction, now this is 90 minus theta, whereas this is theta. Therefore, this is mx omega square cos theta, mx omega square cos theta. Now, by equating here, mg, it is stationary, means mg cos 90 minus theta is equal to mx omega square cos theta, mx omega square cos theta. And now, this is get cancelled, g sin theta is equal to x omega square cos theta. Now, tan theta is equal to tan theta x omega square by g, but slope tan theta is equal to dy by dx, Now, by comparing both, you will get, by comparing both, dy by dx is equal to x omega square by g. Now, dy is equal to x omega square by g into dx. By taking integration on both sides, you will get b is equal to 0 to b, given coordinates up to b, b is equal to omega square by g. This is x to the power 3 x square by 2 into limits 0 to a. By calculating it, you will get omega is equal to fourth option 2 root a 2 g c. So, out of 4 options, this is the correct answer. Now, I am going to start 18th question. This 18th question is based on Young's double slit experiment. Given that in a standard Young's double slit experiment, the separation between slits, separation between slits is 1 millimeter. Separation between slits is 1 meter, and the distance between slits and the screen is 1 meter. If wavelength 632 nanometer is used, the bright fringe is formed at a position y is equal to 1.270 millimeter. Then find the path difference for that point. They are asking what is the path difference for that point. Here this is S1, this is S2, given this is the separation between the slits. Now, this is the screen. The separation between screen and the slits is D. Now, the bright fringe is formed at a position P. By reaching the waves to that point, they are asking what is the path difference. What is the path difference that they are asking. Now, here this is theta, whereas this is theta. Now, this is given y. Now, by doing it, sin theta is equal to, as per this triangle, sin theta is equal to delta x by small d, whereas for in that right angle triangle, tan theta is equal to y by capital D, but theta is very small, then sin theta is nearly equal to tan theta. then delta x is equal to y small d by capital D. Now, by substituting the data in it, y is equal to, they have given 1.27 millimeter 10 to the power minus 3, y, d is equal to, d they have given small d, that is a 1 millimeter 10 to the power minus 3 by capital D. This capital D is equal to 1 meter. Now, which is equal to 1.27 into 10 to the power minus 6 meter. Now, which is equal to 1.27 into 1.27 micrometer, 1.27 micrometer. So, out of 4 options, this is the correct answer. Now, I am going to start 19th question. This 19th question is based on electromagnetics. Here given a proton in an uniform magnetic field. A proton enters into an uniform magnetic field by making an angle 60 degrees with speed 10 meters per second. Find the pitch of the path. Here, if charged particle entered into the field perpendicularly, then it moves in a circular path. Whereas here, it entered into the magnetic field other than 0 degree, 90 degree, 180 degree. That is why it moves in a helical path. For that helical path, what is the pitch? Pitch means the distance travelled by the charged particle along the direction of field during one time period. That is, this is the field, this is the magnetic field, this is the magnetic field of induction B bar. Now, a charged particle entered into it, with velocity v, making an angle theta with the direction of field. Then the component v cos theta, whereas component v sin theta. V sin theta makes the particle to move in a circular path, whereas v cos theta makes the particle to move along the direction of field. As a result, it moves in helical path. Now, the pitch is equal to, this is the pitch x, this is the pitch, x is equal to velocity v cos theta, which drags the particle along the field into time period, v cos theta into time period 2 pi m by bq, Now, this is v velocity 10 into cos theta 1 by 2 cos 60 into 2 pi, mass m is equal to, m is equal to 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27 by b, this is 2 into q 1.19. Now, by calculating it, this is equal to, get cancelled, this is equal to 1 by 2 into 1.67, nearly we can cancel it, nearby we can cancel it, pi into 10 to the power minus 5, now which is equal to 1 by 2, this is 50 pi micrometer. So, out of that 4 options, this is the correct one, 50 pi micrometer. Now, I am starting question number 20. This question number 20 is based on motion of a charged particle under electric field. Here given a charged particle of charge q is entered into the electric field perpendicularly, They are asking which equation describes its path. As per the given question, this is x axis, this is y axis. The field is up to y, up to d, up to D. This is the direction of field, E bar up to D. Now a charge entered into it at x is equal to 0. Then it follows a parabolic path because of force acting on the charged particle. The force acting on the charged particle, F is equal to EQ. Then F is equal to EQ, force acting on the charged particle. Then acceleration of the charged particle is equal to acceleration of charged particle, F by m, EQ by m, EQ by m. Now along y axis, along y axis, y is equal to ut plus of a t square, because along y axis initially velocity is 0. Now of a EQ by m into t square, but along y axis, along x axis acceleration is 0, thereby it moves with uniform velocity. Therefore distance travelled is equal to velocity into time. Now t is equal to d by u. Now by substituting this in this equation, you will get this as correct answer. Now I am going to start question number 21. This question number 21 is based on communications. Here given amplitude of carrier wave and message wave are 5 units and 3 units. Then the ratio of maximum and minimum amplitude of amplitude modulated wave, that they are asking. Here the formula is A maximum by A minimum is equal to amplitude of carrier wave plus amplitude of message signal by amplitude of carrier wave minus amplitude of message signal. Now amplitude of carrier wave, that is 5 plus 3 by 5 minus 3, which is equal to 8 by 2. So the correct option is second one.